Downing Street is facing criticism for effectively blocking the publication of a parliamentary report saying that Russia poses a threat to the UK until after the general election. The report, compiled by the Parliamentary Intelligence and Security Committee, includes information from the UK intelligence services concerning Russian attempts to influence the outcome of the 2016 EU referendum. Let's speak now to Lord Peter Ricketts, a former permanent Undersecretary at the Foreign Office. Thanks for joining us. So do you think it is in the public and the national interest that this report is published before the election?
Yes, I do. I think there's a clear public interest in knowing what the Russians are up to in their manipulation of opinion in this country and more widely. This is a report, as you say, which has been put together with secret intelligence, but also other material as well. But the key point is that it's been sitting with the government since March, being carefully looked at by the intelligence agencies to check that there's nothing in there which might prejudice their work. And what came to the Prime Minister for sign-off was a fully agreed document which probably had certain things taken out for security reasons and was ready for sign-off and publication. And given that there is clearly a public interest to have this out before the election, there's a lot of national security issues around Russia. I can't see any reason why this can't be signed off and published before the Houses rise tomorrow.
I mean, presumably the government will be acting on it when it comes to this election. So why so important it's published? I mean, they know what is in it, as long as it's published at some stage.
Well, the government know what's in it, but the rest of us don't, including Parliament and everyone who will be voting in the election. The thing to understand about this Intelligence and Security Committee is it's the only select committee of Parliament that doesn't have the right to publish its own reports. All the others can go ahead and publish their reports, and then after a while the government replies. This one, it needs the Prime Minister's okay to publish because of the need to take out anything that is sensitive. And therefore, it's not that the government need time to respond to it. What we need is for the report to be out there so everyone can read the main judgments that the committee comes to and be informed about what the Russians may or may not be up to before we move to the election. That seems to me absolutely self-evident. We had a discussion of it in the House of Lords this afternoon. There was pretty much unanimous pressure on the government to get this thing out, and then, of course, to take their time to respond after the election.
So why would they be delaying this if they are? I mean, I have to say, they say there's no agenda, simply a process that has to be gone through, they say, before publication. But what is your feeling about why this is happening?
Well, none of us know, of course, what is in this report, and perhaps it is just a question of process. But if it is, then there's absolutely no reason why they can't speed up the process. They've still got 24 hours to get it out of the Prime Minister's in-tray and out into the public. So I don't know, but the way it's being handled gives everyone sort of grounds to feel that there's something suspicious going on. There may well not be anything suspicious, but the way it's being handled doesn't give any of us confidence that this is being done in the normal way, given that normally, in the normal process of events, it would have been signed off and published by now.
Yeah, I mean, isn't the reality that, that actors, whether it be Russia or maybe China, I mean, will be wanting to interfere in some way with the election?
Well, it may well be, but then the answer to that is transparency. It's much better for all of us to be aware of what the risks might be, so we're alert to manipulation through Facebook or Twitter or whatever it may be, than not to be aware. And since this concerns all electors across the country, it seems to me that if there's anything in this report that is useful to alert people to what may be going on, then that's another reason to get it published.
I mean, what would you fear? You say you don't know what's in it. I mean, what do you fear is in it?
Well, I mean, it's not that I fear. I think it's quite wide-ranging from what I gather. I mean, it talks about Russia's behaviour across quite a wide spectrum, not just manipulation, but Russian money in London and all this sort of thing. So I think it's a wide view of Russia's behaviour towards Western countries and the feeling that they can somehow subvert or manipulate opinion in these countries. So it's not just focused on what they've done with elections, and there may well be evidence about them interfering with elections not just in Britain but around the world as well, in which case let's get that out. I mean, I've got no reason to think there's any great sort of smoking gun there that the government should be worried about. I don't know, but I think the answer is now that public expectation is at such a high level that it is really damaging to have it still sitting in an in-tray in number 10 for process reasons.
OK. Lord Ricketts, Peter Ricketts, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Now let's have a quick look at the weather.